I'm still not 100% better and I'm feeling pretty lightheaded, but hopefully I'll be able to make it through today's video without losing my train of thought too much. Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin and welcome back for today's video. Today I'll be taking you through my start of journal setup for this Dingbat's Great Barrier Reef notebook. In last week's video where I talked about the planning I had for this one, I also talked more about the features this journal has, so if you haven't already seen that, there's a link to it in the cards above. Before we jump in and have a look at the spreads I've set up, I thought I'd just give you a quick overview of the materials I used for these pages. So because when I get into a new journal, I'm always a little bit nervous to start, I of course went in first with my pencil and then thus needed an eraser so that when I went over it with my pens, I could get rid of any sketching lines. The pens I decided to use for these, as usual, are my Pitt Artist pens. I went with the S, M, and B sizes for this one. I also have my Uniball Signo white gel pen for not only correcting errors, but also the white on black effect that I was looking for. And then for a little bit of colour, I also used a Staedtler Tri-Plus Fineliner. Because for this one I wanted to go with my paper bag headers again, I also needed to have some double-sided tape. And then for a little bit of decoration, I also have this white spots on black washi tape. As usual, all of these are linked in the description box below. And as I spoke about last week, I was intending on putting some gold on these layouts, but I still haven't decided on whether I want to add that, and if so, which gold to use, so my Colero Finetech gold watercolours haven't been included in this one. Jumping in to have a look at the pages though, before we jump into that, I just want to say how much of an appreciation I have for this elastic band. I don't know what it is about it, but I really love how elastic it is. It might just be because this elastic is new and the elastic on my Scribbles That Matter is getting a little older. But every time I open this journal, I just think to myself, damn, that feels nice. Anyways, opening it up. As I believe I showed you guys last time, in the front cover of this journal we have some information about the Great Barrier Reef. Now I don't want to start with a negative here, but it's going to feel a little bit negative. I think I would have personally preferred this to be plain, or maybe patterned like the inside cover here is. Just because on the inside cover of my journals I've found that I really like to stick my weekly timetable in here, and I don't want to feel like I'm sticking over the top of something, if that makes sense. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is sticking these two pages together so that when I open my journal I open up to this page here. So in this one I've just gone and used one of my paper bag headers to print out my name and put down that this Dingbat's notebook belongs to me. Added a little bit of washi tape at the top for decoration, but so far this one is looking a little bit plain if you compare it to the one I've got currently, which I'll show you guys in my flip through in a couple weeks time. Moving on to our next page. So for this one it had a how to use this journal, and I didn't really need to be told how to use it or need that as a reference. So instead I stuck a paper bag over that one and wrote out this quote. I still have a long way to go, but I'm already so far from where I used to be, and I'm proud of that. This is from a post I saw on Bullet Journal Junkies a few weeks ago over on Facebook. And I'm not sure if they were the original artist, but the poster of that one was Megan Savold, or Megan Savold, I'm sorry. It could be either way. I'm gonna say Megan Savold. As I mentioned, I'm not sure if they were the original artist of the one that they did, but I thought it was really cute and I wanted something about progress in this journal. Just something to remind me that although a new journal I like to treat like a fresh beginning, I'm always building on the things I've done previously, so I am further than where I started. I'm not sure how visible it is, but along this side of the page there are these little kind of half circles, and they're intended to be used so that you can have tabs through your journal to kind of color code different sections or something like that. I'm not going to be doing that. I don't need to color code my sections. Although I can see how it'd be really helpful for some people, it's not something I'm going to make use of. So what I'm instead going to leave this space for is positive quotes or affirmations that I collect throughout the life of this journal. I just used this piece of washi tape to cover up the title, which was obviously quite small because this washi tape's only like 1.5 centimeters wide. But it means I now have these 12 lines here to write down 12 affirmations for myself. Moving on to our next spread, we have my index, or the start of, and also my keys page. So this one has my color key, and this is the same color key that I've been using for 2 or 3 journals now. So just what I call my ideal rainbow, where I have my pink for personal, orange for goals, yellow for leisure tasks, green for work or things that are specifically related to my classes, pale blue for school, darker blue for holidays and birthdays, thus the holiday, and purple for social tasks. I feel like I just said tasks a whole bunch and I meant events. Yeah, I usually use these color codes for events, not tasks. Down here we have my general key, so the same one that I've always used. We have a dot for a task, a half cross for a started task, full cross for a done task, an arrow if I've moved the task. Technically speaking, I use a line through a task if I have decided I'm not going to do it, but that doesn't happen very often, so I didn't see the point of putting it on here. I have 2 different symbols for notes because I like to use both of them. A circle for an event, a tick in the circle if I attended it, a slash through it if I didn't attend but it still went ahead, and then a line through it if it was cancelled. In my index, as I did in my last journal, I've just listed out the months that are going to be housed in this journal, so July through to December, and then the space down the bottom here is for any collections that I have, and I can list out the page numbers thereon. Here's some more index that I'm probably not going to use. I'll probably either double-side tape these together or, I don't know, make some kind of a collage if I'm feeling adventurous. Next page. So this is where I started to stuff things up, because technically speaking I was intending on putting my future log here, but when I went and drew out like the first 5 lines, I put them on page 3 instead of page 1. So I decided instead to have this as my spread for my goals. This as my spread for my goals. Yep. So here we have my 20 before 2020 page. So I've got 20 boxes here and I'm going to fill it up with 20 things that I want to get done before the end of the year. And then this page here is just to list down any other goals or milestones that I hit. You can see it looks a little barren at the moment. I haven't really decided what I want on my 20 before 2020 list. But I'm hoping that I'll get at least a couple of things down before the end of the month. Moving on, we have, as you probably could have guessed it, my future log. So for this one, I wanted to step away from the future log I've been doing previously, where I have the months along the top of the page and then space to write the events down underneath them. Mostly because it wasn't getting filled up enough. I feel like I didn't really need the amount of room that I was leaving myself. So I have a year at a glance here instead, which, as we all know, is one of the most painstaking things to do when setting up a new journal, and huzzah, I managed to not stuff up any of the numbers. At least I don't think I did. If you see any mistakes, please let me know. Along with all the days of the months, I also have down the side of each of these the week number, so this journal is going to start in week 27 of the year. As I've done previously, I don't include the first month that the journal's going to be used for in my future log, so you see that the little letters I have up here that represent each month start with A for August. So on this one, I'm either going to write down underneath the letter of the month the day that the event falls on. So for instance, if I had an event on August 18th, I'd write a little 18, and then off to the side write down what that event is. Or I'm going to put in a circle with my color code that tells me what kind of an event it is, and then write the number off to the side with the event. I haven't decided which way, but either would work quite well for me, I think. On to my next page, we have my countdown till the end of the year. So this just shows me how many lessons I have with each of my classes. So you can see for my senior classes, I'm going to be seeing them up until the end of week 3 of term 4, so T4, term 4, W3, week 3. And then for my year 8s, I see them all the way through till the end of term 4. This little space here, I'm not too sure what I'm going to use for just yet. So if you had any suggestions, I would love to know. After this, we have my regular term scheduler, where I have the weeks across the top, the days down the side, and then each of these rows represents a class period. So for instance, this is week 1, Monday, period 1 through 6, Tuesday 1 through 6, Wednesday 1 through 6, so on and so forth. Any of the ones I have in grey here are assemblies, so period 4 on Mondays and Fridays we have assembly, but I also have some other boxes greyed out. For instance, in week 6 I have the Monday and Tuesday greyed out because those are days that I won't have any classes because of a long weekend. So this goes through from term 3 week 1 to week 9, and then the first 3 weeks of term 4, because after that I'll just have my year 8s, and I didn't really see the point of drawing all of this out for just one class. My next page we have is my TOM tracker, so TOM being time of month, so this is to track when I have my period. It looks a little barren at the moment. I haven't gone and written down all of the day numbers, just because, as you guys know, I haven't been very well recently, so I haven't really had the energy or motivation to get in here and actually finish it off. After this one, we have my bills and savings trackers. Now, I opted out of having a savings tracker in my current journal because the year before I found that I wasn't really using it, and I wanted to try and track my money in a different way, which is totally working. But I have missed actually just having a straightforward savings tracker where each box represents a certain amount of money, and I get to colour it in once I got that much. Although my goal for this year is only 5,000, I do have enough space to track up to 7,700 on this one. So we start here and just follow the boxes around to 1k, to 2k, to 3k, to 4k, to 5k. This little box is by itself because I just couldn't find a way to make it work. And then through to 6, through to 7, and through to 7.7. My bills tracker here, I saw one of these kind of spreads over on Pinterest, and I just thought it was a really cute idea. So I wanted to make one for myself and see how my internet, power, and media subscription bills change throughout the year. So you can see, obviously, power is on an increase because we're getting into winter, whereas my media subscriptions are pretty much the same each month, but because they're charged on a 28-day schedule, it means that some months are a little bit higher than others. For our internet, this one's slowly been going down because we recently changed the subscription we had, and it's just kind of nice to be able to see how those things change throughout the year. Over the page, we have my monthly challenges and weekly challenges page. Now, these monthly challenges are going to be health and money related. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about setting yourself up a monthly challenges page for money as part of my money related spread ideas video. And after making that one, I decided I wanted to set myself some money related challenges for the rest of the year. Although my savings this year have been going okay, I know they could be going a lot better. So I figured setting myself some challenges like this would actually help me to hit the saving related goals that I set for myself. You can see we have 12 boxes here, so 2 for each month, 1 for the health related challenge and 1 for the money related challenge. You can see I haven't written anything in these yet because I haven't quite decided what I want to do in each month. But I know that one of my money related challenges that I'm hoping to do is bringing lunches from home rather than buying them at school, which I do a lot. On my weekly challenges page, this is where I'm going to be listing out the challenges I have for setting up each of my weekly spreads. I can't quite remember which video I talked about this in, but I do know that I made a post over on my community tab about it. What I'm looking to do for at least the next few weeks is, as part of my weekly setup videos, setting myself some criteria to follow for each of those. So what I mean by this is making a weekly spread just using one pen, or just using washi, or just using stickers, or using my non-preferred hand, or something like that. Some of you guys gave me some really cool ideas, and I will be including those on here. But of course, if you have any more for me, please do leave them in the comments. I'm thinking that the first one I'll probably do will be a 1 pen only, so I might as well go write that one in now. Some other suggestions I've had have been things like a weekly spread where I only use highlighters, or a weekly spread where I only use colours or materials that I do not like. I believe there was a suggestion to have one that was either designed or done by my partner or friend, and that one I'm certainly hoping to do as well. Moving on to the next page, we have my to consume and to buy pages. Of course, again, looking a little bit barren, but these ones will get filled in over time. So to consume, here I mean things like media, so TV shows to watch, books to read, movies to watch, games to play, that kind of thing. Whereas to buy are things that I want to purchase, obviously. On to the next one. We have my ideal week. And this is where I just want to plot out a couple of the things that I like to do once a week and when I'm going to do them. So for instance, on Monday we've decided that that's our budgeting night, so I'm going to eventually write budgeting down on there. At this stage, I'm not too sure if I want to separate this into columns or something similar, so I haven't gone and written anything in just yet. On the page across from this, we have my self-care ideas. This idea came from a Pinterest picture I found, which I've got pictured here for you. I wasn't feeling quite as adventurous with my drawing on this one, so I just drew some simple pictures in to represent each of these 8 categories. I haven't written down the ideas that they have there yet because I'm not too sure if I want to use the ones from that picture or if I want to think of a few of my own. But the areas I have for this one are physical, emotional, social, spiritual, personal, space, so physical space, financial, and work. And then last but not least, we have my notes to self page. So this one is just where I can write down any notes that I might think of. So things like if I go to a new restaurant and try a new dish that I either really do or don't like, if I want to write any reminders for myself for the future, or if I have any thoughts or feelings about what I want to include in my next bullet journal, so number 7. Doing a final flip through, I'm really excited to start using this journal. I haven't used a Dingbats before, so it's going to be quite a change compared to the Scribbles That Matter journals that I have been using. But even with just setting these pages up, I think I'm really gonna like it. I found that the paper quality is really nice. It is a little bit more creamy or yellow than the Scribbles That Matter, which means that using my Uniball Signo white gel pen as a whiteout pen isn't quite as effective, but so far so good. Thank you for watching, and if you liked today's video, feel free to go check out another one. Until next time, bye!